What's up everyone? Something I get asked all the time is, I want to get a job as a software engineer. How do I write a killer resume which will get me that interview? Do you have any tips for me? And the answer is yes, I got plenty of tips for you and I'll give them to you for free because I'm good like that. Okay, I don't want this video to end up super long, so I'm going to try and get through them quite quickly. I've got my notes right here. So, question number one, does it matter how many pages it is? And the answer is kind of yes. As long as it's 1 to 2 pages though, you're okay. Definitely not more than 2 pages. If it's 3 pages or more, you want to cut it down, trim it. Question number 2, how good are internships for resumes? Internships are really, really good. They reflect very positively because they show that you've got a real world experience. They show you've been hired somewhere before and you have experience in the workplace, and it's not just experience in a class or something like that. So if you have internships, put them on there for sure. Now, they're not necessary. I didn't do an internship, so my resume doesn't have any internships on it, so you don't need them. But if you're still at university and internships are an option, definitely something you should look into doing. But like I said, it's not the end of the world if you don't have them. They're just a good thing to put on there. Question number 3, graphics on resumes. These are like the cool little art styles, or if you go into Microsoft Word, you can create a file from a template, and you've got some crazy colors and stuff. Don't need those, get rid of it. They're distracting. The only time you would really want to put them on there is if it's relevant for your role. Let's say you're going for a design role instead. Now maybe you'd want to use graphics then to show off your design work, but if you're going for a software engineering role, you don't need graphics, get rid of them. I'll try and put an example on screen of something you might want to avoid, something that takes up too much real estate on the page. You don't have much space on a resume, so you don't want to fill it up with crazy colors and fancy boxes. It won't do anything for you, it won't do anything to get you the interview. Mine was super bare bones. I'll show you mine as well. You can copy that if you want. So, in my opinion, get rid of the graphics, you don't need them. Question number 4. Do I need to list my GCSEs or A-levels on my resume? Now, for those that don't know, my non-England audience, GCSEs and A-levels in England are just high school grades. So the question is, do I need to put my high school grades on my resume? And the answer is no, you don't need to. They don't really do much for you to get you the job. Maybe if you're a straight A student, you might want to put your A-levels on there. But if you're going for an entry-level role, you're like, early level high school grades will do nothing to get you the job, all right? That's not really what we're looking for. Again, I did put mine on my resume, but looking back now, I didn't really need to. But like I said, if you're a straight A student, maybe you want to put that on there as well, but it won't really do much to get you the job. So if you maybe didn't do as well in high school as you hoped, I definitely didn't, you might want to cut them off. So you do want to put information about your university level degrees on there. That is relevant and valid, but not so much the high school stuff. So university grades and stuff, sure, put them on there, and your classes or whatever, put them on, but your high school stuff, get rid of it. You can keep them if you like, if you need to fill some space up, but it's not essential. Question number 5. Well, this isn't a question, it's more of a point. Don't add a scoring system for your skills. And what I mean by this is, what's common is for people to say like, I don't know, they'll list the programming languages they know, like C++, C, JavaScript, Java, whatever. And for each one they give it like a score out of 5 of how confident they are, I guess. This is something I've done in the past. And in fact, if you look on my website at the moment, you'll see a scoring system. Get rid of that. The scoring system doesn't do much because what's 4 out of 5 stars? It's subjective to who's making the score up. So it doesn't really tell us much. What would be better is if you put like professionally experienced in C++. That's better than 4 out of 5 stars in C++. So again, something we see all the time. I've done it in the past, but get rid of the scoring system for your skills. Okay, you don't need it. Okay, question number 6. What font should I use? Keep it basic. I use Times New Roman. That's like the most basic font you could get. So definitely keep it basic. No crazy fonts. Times New Roman, what I used. You can't go wrong with the Arials or however you say it. Just the really basic fonts. Don't go crazy on the fonts. That's not the way you want to stand out on a resume. No Comic Sans. I know you're thinking about it. What type of file should I save it as? PDF or Word documents are fine. I've always used PDFs. I think most people just save it as PDF. So that's my advice, just save it as a PDF, nothing else. All right, and then for any additional tips, I have keep it brief, You don't need to go crazy with the long paragraphs. You don't want that. Remember, the person looking at your resume is going to have a stack of them on your desk. So keep it brief. Just write down the important parts. Maybe add a blurb about yourself. So a little short intro about what kind of person you are, maybe what your interests are outside of work, a couple of sentences maximum, just to kind of paint the picture as to what kind of person you are. Definitely not a big long paragraph about that. Keep it short. You know, my name's Reese, I'm this years old, I like doing this and that, you know, that's cool. Just a few sentences, top of your resume. I've also put list the experiences you've used. Now, by this, I don't mean put every single programming language you've ever used on your resume. That's something we see a lot, something I actually did on my resume, but you don't need to do that. When you've got 20 different languages on there, we can't tell which ones you're most confident with, right? And versus which ones you've used for 5 minutes in a class one time, or you did a tutorial on C++ one time, so now you put that on your resume. So yeah, make sure you list it if it's relevant. If you've got a good experience with it, like let's say you use Swift in your free time to make applications, like iPhone apps, yeah, put that on there. But again, if you use it for like one class, you don't really need to put that on there. Also, make sure you list any projects or experiences you have that show your interest in coding outside of work or a university environment. So if you, I don't know, made a website for your church, or you have made the iPhone app for a certain charity or something, put that on there, that's good. It shows an interest in your coding outside of what you're required to do. So that's a good thing. If it shows your interests and experiences, put it on there, that's good. Also, don't add a picture. You don't need to add a picture of yourself on there. Sometimes we see resumes come through and they have pictures of themselves. Don't put it on there. You don't need that. In fact, it's advised against that. So no pictures. You can put your like phone number and your email address on there. If you've got a website, stick that on there. That's great. But no pictures. You don't need to list your address on there or anything like that. You can if you want to. It won't hurt. But yeah. That's it. That's pretty much all I've got for you. So by now, you will know all the tips. I've taught you everything I know about writing resumes, and you're good to go. So to summarize, 1 to 2 pages, keep it brief, make sure everything you put on there is relevant to what the role you're applying for. And yeah, that's it. You guys are gonna do great. You're gonna kill it, I know. So that's it. I've taught you everything I know about writing resumes. You guys are pros now. I will link my resume in the description below so you can copy the format and the layout. It'll be the one that got me the job at Microsoft, so you know it's okay. But ultimately, there's no strict set of rules you must follow. It must be this amount of pages. It can't have this, can't have that. It's not like that. It's just totally subjective. You just want to make it easy for the person who's reading it to gauge who you are, what your interests are, what experiences you have. And yeah, that's it. You're gonna do great. Any questions at all, just let me know.